Another, I want to be happy to share with all of you, Dr. Iqbal is also our founder member of your Dr. Kotnes Acupuncture Hospital. He is not only a well practitioner from the modern medicine, gynecologist, and he is very good social worker for every angle. He is trying to help every field of doctors. And today, and the acupuncture institution reach on this level due to with his cooperation. And again, my both daughter is come in this world with the Dr. Iqbal. So I think today webinar of participation of Dr. Iqbal and Dr. Sunita is the speaker. So definitely we achieved some new milestone in the history of gynecology related with the acupuncture problems. So hopefully Dr. Iqbal, by name अगर इसका मीनिंग करें डॉक्टर इकबाल का बुलंदियां. सो बुलंदियां न सिर्फ डॉक्टर इकबाल ने गायनी में इस्तेमाल किए, उनके नाम से भी, उनकी सोशल स्टडी से भी, और एक्यूपंक्चर में भी हम लोग जो आज बुलंदियां की है, इस तरह के डॉक्टरों ने हमें जो हेल्प की थी, वो आज आपका इंस्टीट्यूशन एक्यूपंक्चर हॉस्पिटल पूरे ना कि सिर्फ पंजाब, नॉर्दर्न इंडिया में नहीं, इंटरनेशनल बुलंदियां हासिल की है. सो आई वेलकम ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ ऑल ऑफ यू एंड बिहाफ ऑफ डॉक्टर कोटनेस, डॉक्टर इकबाल इज thank you, sir, for your valuable time. Spare us. Now we have come towards our speaker, Dr. Sunita Kapoor. Dr. Sunita Kapoor has completed his medical graduation from the Lady Harding Hospital, Delhi in 1982. After getting the graduation from the medical side, she had turned and toward the acupuncture side. He has learned acupuncture from not only from the China, other many countries, Australia, Canada, and very senior most doctor she have trained. Because being she is interested for the research, she is also running a Indira Gandhi study center, IGNOU, for the postgraduate diploma in acupuncture. So she is the also pioneer of the study center of the Delhi Indira Gandhi University. In the whole country, we have running the 9 center of study center in the by the help of the Indira Gandhi Open University. So welcome, madam. And today, your speech and your experience definitely will help us to promote the acupuncture in with the gynecologist. There are so many gynecologists with us, and so hopefully and definitely your speech, your research, and your topic will be boost of the promotion of acupuncture. Thank you. Today, Dr. Saab, can we allow to Dr. Sunita for speech? Dr. Iqbal?
You want me to speak first?
Yeah, Dr. Iqbal, you can.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Indrajit. It's nice to see Dr. Sunita, Dr. Anish Gupta, and my old pal, Dr. Indrajit. It's a pleasure to be associated with acupuncture. Actually, I was very close to the father of Dr. Indrajit Dhingra, who was a well-known freedom fighter and a very good social worker. And we used to meet often. Then came Dr. Indrajit in the field, and I think he was very close to me. And right from the beginning of acupuncture, when people did not know the meaning of acupuncture, Dr. Dhingra brought this field in Ludhiana, and we were first in India to start this type of center. We had problems because people were not aware of acupressure or acupuncture, but we have to tell them. And gradually, when they saw the results, I think they got satisfied, and now it's a big institute. Dhingra has almost sacrificed his life for the development and welfare of acupuncture. Now, we need is to associate the science, a very ancient science, although we say origin in China, but it was about many years ago, 3000 BC, some people say 100 years in China, but gradually it progressed. But the problem was recognition, and to make everybody believe that this is a science and it needs your kind attention and progress. So Indrajit brought this thing to the limelight, and everybody started now believing acupuncture. Now acupuncture is an entity, and we don't have to explain. They know it. No role in gynae. I think acupuncture has got a role in every part of the human body, and thing is that we should have experts to explore the thing. Now for gynae, there is a center for all these organs: uterus, ovary, cervix. Same way for heart, same way for brain. What we have to explore is we have to explore these particular centers. We have to have the knowledge of these centers, functioning of these centers, and how we can stimulate these centers to get the work done. Like this in a gynae, we have sometimes the eggs are not being formed. Eggs are being small. Person not conceiving because of this factor. Now, what we have to find out that where we can stimulate so that we can give more supply to the ovary, we can give more supply to energy to produce more eggs and healthy eggs. This way, we'll help in infertility. Same way, menstrual problems. Same way, many other problems of things which we have to see. Only thing we have to assess is whether we are not delaying the treatment of a particular disease like cancer cervix. Now, we may not force them because we may have to see whether our acupuncture can help and how much it can help. So we have to think judiciously and we have to act judiciously. And now we have come to a very standard therapy of acupuncture. I think it's a time to cooperate and we should seek cooperation for all other institutes. And I think we'll be first in the world to get a first position. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Iqbal. And Dr. Sunita, please you carry on. Dr. Sunita presently is the consultant gynecologist acupuncturist in the Sri Gangaram Hospital, Delhi. Welcome. She has experience of acupuncture field in last 31 years. So we want to learn from you. So carry on, Sunita.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the kind words. And I'm really impressed, Dr. Iqbal. It's so nice to share the dais with you. I know we have been practicing acupuncture for infertility even before the IVF came into existence. In China, they used to treat infertility with acupuncture and herbs. And I was amazed at the results. And its inclusion with the IVF started not in China, but in the Western world. In Texas, where I learned that, every IVF center had an in-house acupuncturist. And every patient who had to undergo any assisted reproductive technology was given acupuncture and herbs along with the Western methods, ART methods. But unfortunately, in India, we are not allowed to use Chinese herbs, which are very good. But of course, we have the alternative in terms of Ayurveda. So we can always combine acupuncture and Ayurveda and help our patients who are undergoing ART and increase the success rate. I won't say it treats the problems on its own, but combined with our Western methods, it definitely increases the success rate. So I have been practicing this treatment of infertility with acupuncture for the last 15 years in a big way, in the sense that I have been to China at least 8 times to just learn how they are treating infertility. Been to US, Canada at least 6 times, and only worked in the infertility clinics to learn the system properly and use it in my practice. And here now I am fortunate enough that most of the gynecologists, about 80 to 90% of the gynecologists of Delhi, they refer their patients to us, whether they are going in for IVF or any other ART, or not. Even if they are planning for natural conceptions, then also they send the patient to us. We treat them along with the Western medicines which have been given by the gynecologist, and we are getting very good results in a combined manner. So I have been giving a lot of webinars on how I'm treating the patients with acupuncture, especially the infertility patients. And there is a series of webinars that I have conducted. In each series, I have included a particular aspect of infertility, means there are different causes of infertility, and I have dealt with all the different causes one by one in each of my webinars. So one of the webinars which was easy to understand and did not require any knowledge, old knowledge or the ancient knowledge of the infertility and TCM, was the one I'm presenting now, in which case you will, if you are unable to read the tongue, you are unable to read the pulse and not able to diagnose and the syndrome affected the patient, you can still practice and treat them for infertility and hormonal imbalances through these points, which I'm going to tell you in this webinar. So that's why I chose this webinar, because it's easy to practice. And everybody who has been practicing treatment of gynecological disorders, including infertility, including hormonal imbalance, including menopausal syndromes, you can use these points and get good results. Okay. So let me start with the presentation. The hormone imbalance, infertility, and pregnancy are clinical issues that require a multidisciplinary treatment approach. Today, we are going to learn Dr. Tan's balance method in acupuncture for addressing these women's health problems, and especially treat the root causes of infertility by tapping into the meridian channels to both diagnose and treat these hormonal imbalances. We are going to use 12 meridian acupuncture approach to diagnose and treat hormonal imbalance. We are going to use all the 12 meridians. Okay. So Dr. Tan's method, I'm sure all of you must be well aware of this method. It's a superb method to balance all the 12 meridians in the body. Okay. It can be explained through 3 simple steps, which offer a universal strategy to treat the range of presenting patients. It helps logically identify and differentiate the symptoms and determine an individualized treatment protocol for each patient. So we need to go through the 3 steps which are given by Dr. Tan to balance all the 12 meridians in the body. Of course, for every patient, the meridians could be different. We are going to discuss all the meridians and the permutation and combinations which would be possible in different types of patients. So the first step in Dr. Tan's balance method is diagnosing. How to diagnose the affected or the sick meridian. Suppose a patient of PCOD comes to us, right? The patient is not able to conceive because of the presence of a polycystic ovarian disease. So we have to first identify which is the sick meridian in this patient, right? Now, most of the time, the sick meridians, which involves the reproductive system pathology, falls under the lower abdomen meridians, especially kidney, stomach, ren, dew, dye, and liver meridian. I'm sure you all must be aware of these meridians. So all of them, they lie in the lower abdomen or at the back of the back of the trunk. So they are all lying in the lower jaw, right? Now we have to choose out of these meridians that if this patient has come to us, which out of these meridians is the disturbed meridian. If suppose you are unable to choose that, we need to balance all of them, and we learn a global balancing method, which is started by Dr. Tan, how to balance all these meridians in a patient. Okay. So another thing which we have to keep in mind in a patient who comes to us with the hormonal imbalance. Suppose patient comes to us with a high FSH count and for infertility. We should know which meridian is disturbed in a patient whose hormones are imbalanced. Mostly it is the spleen and the Sanger meridian. So we need to balance these two meridians first in a patient who comes to us with a low or a high hormone count. Sometimes we get patients of infertility with low progesterone, with high FSH, with high prolactin. So in these patients, we would be first treating the spleen and the Sanger meridian. Then mostly these meridians, these patients, they have their Shen compromised. The Shen is affected because if the lady is not able to conceive, she is very depressed. Shen means our spirit, right? And in our modern medicine, Shen means brain. So and we know, according to our modern medicine, that it is a brain which controls our reproductive system. The pituitary hormones, they are controlling our ovaries, right? So it's the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis which we treat when we treat the heart meridian, and we call it as Shen in terms of acupuncture, right? So first system of diagnosis will include the identifying the sick meridian. Out of the sick meridian, there are many meridians we know of. We should lay more emphasis on the meridians lying in the lower abdomen and the due meridian. And the meridian, if the patient has got hormonal imbalance, just simply put your emphasis on spleen and Sanger, balancing these two, and always treat the Shen by using the heart meridian. That way you will be treating the brain and the pituitary gland as well. Now the step 2 is how to balance which meridians we have to choose to balance the entire system, the entire reproductive system. Here we have to choose either the local or the global balance system. You have to read about these local and global balance system in Dr. Tan's books, which are explained very nicely in his books. I don't have here the time to explain this. So we will have to do global balancing in patient to treat infertility, because local balancing is mainly for musculoskeletal problems, right? So we will be doing global balancing because infertility involves multiple meridians, and all these meridians have to be balanced and brought back into harmony. So local balance seeks to balance one or two meridians, a specific area in the body or acute condition, and not the whole body. So it's important to remember that even with local balance, the balance method uses insertion of needles into distal and not the affected area to treat the condition. You must be using this method to treat musculoskeletal problems. Okay, but global balance is designed to treat all over body pains, including the functional disorders, systemic concerns, and Shen disorders. And in order to create effective global balance, we need to satisfy two criteria: the dynamic balance and the static balance. Dynamic balance is a balance between the yin and the yang aspect of the body. And static balance is balancing all the using 4 to 6 meridians to balance the entire body. So dynamic balance, this is the yin-yang balance. And static balance, we will be using the 6 systems of the Tan's balance method. So this chart shows all the 6 systems of Tan balance method, right? Suppose I told you that for the hormonal imbalance, it is the spleen meridian which is mainly affected. So if we look at the spleen meridian in the first line, in the first column, we see that the first system which affects the spleen meridian or balances the spleen meridian is the lung meridian. And lung meridian is linked with the spleen meridian because of the common name Tai Yin. Okay, the location of the lung meridian is in the hand is same as this location of the spleen meridian in the foot. So that is why they are called with the common name tai yin. One is hand tai yin and other is foot tai yin. So we balance the lung meridian to balance the spleen meridian. According to the second system, it is the small intestine, which is tai yang, which balances tai yin. According to the third system, it is the foot yang ming, that is the stomach, which is going to balance the spleen. According to the fourth system, it is hand shao yang, which is going to balance spleen. According to the fifth system, it is heart. And according to the sixth system, it is spleen itself. So there are 6 systems. So we can use any one of these systems to balance the spleen meridian. Similar way, if we go down, it is the Sanjiao meridian which comes. And again, we have 6 systems which link with the Sanjiao meridian through various aspects. Okay, I will go in detail to those aspects in the future, in the later slides. So this is the way we balance the, we do the global balancing by using the 6 systems. In system 1, there is a common name sharing, like I told you, tai yin is linked to spleen, which is also tai yin. And you should needle on the opposite side. If you're treating right side of spleen meridian, you should treat left side of the lung meridian. According to the second, according to system 2, it's the branching meridian. Okay, so you can treat on either side. Again, for example, if we take, in this case, spleen, foot tai yin, you can use hand tai yang. You know, it is a yin and a yang balance. Yin will balance the yang and yang will balance the yin. So if you are using the right side of spleen tai yin meridian, you can use left or right side of hand tai yang meridian. Third system includes the interior exterior balance. Means if spleen is, again we take spleen as an example, you can use the interior exterior part of the spleen, which is stomach, yang ming. You can use the stomach, which should be used on the opposite side. Then fourth system uses the Chinese clock, right? So spleen is 9 to 11. Spleen timing is 9 to 11 a.m. So you can use a meridian which is whose timings are 9 to 11 p.m. Okay, so just opposite according to the Chinese clock. The fifth is the neighbor according to the Chinese clock. In this case, again, like suppose spleen is there, the neighbor of the spleen is heart. So you can use heart to treat and balance the spleen. And this should be treated on the opposite side. And sixth is the same meridian. You can use the same spleen meridian to balance itself. You can use various points on the spleen meridian. And which points to use, that will be the step 3. So step 1 was identify the disease meridian. Step 2 was identify the meridians which will balance the sick meridian. And step 3 would be identify the points on the meridians which you are going to balance. Okay. Now, after knowing the 2 steps, where it's very important to understand that what type of balancing you would be doing, what type of truss you would be making, right? So on the right hand side, you can see battery on karna. It's very important that we identify which truss we would be balancing, right? So I have given 1, 2, 3, 4 truss, right? So according to these 4 truss, yeah, one of them you can fit inside this human structure, you know, with the head and 4 limbs. And where I have put the yin yang logo, you can fit that truss on that logo. I'll just explain to you how we are going to use this truss. Okay, so few of the truss have got 4 corners and few of them have got 6 corners. Now, how are we going to use the acupuncture points? According to the TANS method, there is a mirror concept of mapping the reflection between the limbs. For example, we have to map, in this case, we'll be treating the reproductive system. So we have to map the reproductive system on the limb. Normally, the reproductive system is in the trunk. So we are going to treat the reproductive system by mapping its location on the limbs. Limbs would be upper limb as well as lower limb, right? So if we have some idea about the mirror imaging, then we can locate the area of the reproductive system, means the uterus and the ovaries and the areas between them on the limbs, the upper and the lower limbs, right? So according to the direct mirror imaging method, shoulder is reflected on the hip, upper arm on thigh, elbow on knee, forearm on lower leg, wrist on ankle, hand on foot, and finger on toe. And similarly, we can do the reverse imaging. Now, this table, it shows written in the red, if we see that where are the genitals, bladder, sacrum represented according to the mirror imaging on upper and lower limb. They are represented on the wrist and hand in the upper limb and ankle and foot in the lower limb. And this is the reverse imaging. I mostly use the direct imaging for the infertility and gynecological disorders. This fertility treatment involves multiple meridian. So we use global balance, okay, with the following pattern combination. So first pattern combination, there are 2 main pattern combinations. One is for the narrow front, which will be for the organ problems. We use 4 magical meridians of Dr. Tan and 4 magical meridians for the hormone and Shen problems, which will mainly include the premenstrual syndrome, menopausal syndrome, where we have a lot of hormones being imbalanced. Okay, we can combine the 2 magical meridians, the 4 magical meridians of the 2 types of disorders and form 8 magical meridian to treat any obs and gynae problem. If you are not able to identify the diseased and the sick meridian, just use these 8 magical meridians of Dr. Tan and get the results. Now just remember this figure very nicely. It's the head on top, the right limb, the right upper limb, left upper limb, right lower limb, left lower limb. And in the center, we have the logo of yin and yang. That means we have to balance the yin and yang on both the sides of the body and in each of the limbs. Okay. Now, first important group was identifying those 4 meridians to treat the narrow front. Now, what is the narrow front? A narrow front means if we have studied the acupuncture, the basics of acupuncture, which says that the kidney meridian is responsible for all reproductive activity, all growth of all reproductive organs. So whenever there is a problem of infertility, the first important meridian which should come into our mind is kidney, right? And if we see the pathway of the kidney meridian on the front of the body, we know that the kidney meridian lies 2 sun lateral to the midline in the chest and 2 sun and half sun lateral to the midline in the abdomen and lower abdomen, if you remember the pathway of the kidney meridian. So it is white in the upper part of the trunk, and as we go down, it becomes narrow. And as we reach the pubic symphysis, it is the narrowest, right? So this kidney meridian, it makes a narrow front as it goes downwards towards the reproductive organs. That is why we call it the treatment of the narrow front. So we are using 4 magical meridians of Dr. Tan to treat the narrow front. Narrow front means the reproductive organs, mainly supplied by the kidney meridians. Okay. So first important meridian that we have chosen is the kidney meridian. Suppose we take kidney meridian on the right lower limb. If you see in the figure, the kidney meridian is shown at the level of right lower limb. Now we have to turn or rotate our yin yang logo from the right lower limb towards the right upper limb. Okay, we have to rotate it clockwise like this. So as we rotate it clockwise, from kidney meridian, we go up to the right upper limb. In the right upper limb, we, according to those 6 systems of Tan's balancing method, we identify that in the right upper limb, it is the large intestine meridian which balances kidney. And again, we keep rotating the yin yang logo. As we go to the left upper limb, we find it is the pericardium meridian which balances kidney. As we keep on rotating, we go down to the left lower limb. It is the stomach. We find it is the stomach meridian which is balancing the kidney according to those 6 systems of balancing. Right? So, and you must appreciate that each side of the body has got one yin meridian and one yang meridian. Okay. On the right side, we have kidney, yin meridian, large intestine, yang meridian. On the left side of the body, we have pericardium as yin meridian and stomach as the yang meridian. So this is doing a dynamic balance of balancing yin and yang, and it is also doing a global balance of balancing all the 4 limbs with 4 meridians, right? Right. Now, this diagram now shows which truss we have used to balance the 4 meridians on the 4 limbs. So if you remember, I showed you 4 types of trusses. So we have used the second truss in this case, okay, second from the top, and we have put that truss over here. Now, if you see the 6 systems, if you see that six systems, you will see that kidney is balanced by large intestine according to system 4. It is balanced by pericardium according to system 5. Okay. Then if we see large intestine is balanced by stomach according to system 2 and 4, and it is balanced by kidney according to system 4. Right? If we go to pericardium is balanced by kidney according to system 5, and it balances stomach according to system 2 or 4. So that's according to system 1, 4, 5, and 2. We can balance all the 4 meridians. Now it's very important. Now let me also finish the truss which we use for balancing all the hormones. So for that, we use the 4 magical meridians which we use to treat all hormone imbalances and Shen disorders are spleen and Sanjiao. You remember I told you that hormones are produced by the spleen meridian and circulated in the body by the Sanjiao meridian. So we need to take these 2 meridians to balance the hormones. And what will be the other 2 meridians required to balance, to make a global balance? So for that, if spleen is taken in the right lower limb, Sanjiao will be in the right upper limb, heart in the left upper limb, and gallbladder in the left lower limb. Right? So what is the type of truss we form? This is the type of truss we form, which I showed you earlier. Out of the 4 trusses, this is the truss. You will have to learn these 6 systems of balancing. Keep looking at that chart which I showed you. That chart will tell you how I arrived at the heart and gallbladder meridians to form a global balance. Okay. So in this case, we'll be using spleen in the right lower limb, Sanjaw in the right upper limb, heart in the left lower upper limb, and gallbladder in the left lower limb. Again, you'll appreciate that on the right side, I have 1 yin and 1 yang meridian. And on the left side, I have 1 yin and the 1 yang meridian. So we are doing a dynamic balance also by balancing yin and yang, which is the foremost criteria of acupuncture, to balance the yin and yang. Okay. Now we can combine these two. Now we did 2 types of trusses, and we can combine these two. No. So on the right lower limb, you can combine kidney with spleen. Right upper limb, you can combine large intestine with Sanjaw. Left upper limb, you can combine heart with pericardium. And left lower limb, you can combine gallbladder with stomach. It's just we have combined the 2 types which we did earlier into one figure. Now, what are the acupuncture points? So for the narrow front treatment, that means for all gynecological problems where kidney is involved, kidney meridian is involved, I told you the location of the area of genitals and reproductive organs we chose were the wrist and hands in the upper limb, and ankle and foot in the lower limb. Okay, so if we have to take kidney meridian, to treat kidney meridian in the right limb, the points that we are going to choose are kidney 2, 3, 4, and 7. These are the points which are located on the foot and the ankle, right? Where we had located the reproductive organs according to the direct mirror imaging method. Same way, if you see large intestine points, which are to be on the hand and the wrist, they are large intestine 3, 4, 5, and 6. The pericardium points are pericardium 6, 7, 7.2, and 8. Again, they are on the hand and wrist. The stomach points are stomach 40, stomach 40.5, and stomach 41. Again, on the foot and ankle. For the Shen disorder and the hormonal imbalance, okay, we can use spleen 4 and lower 3 emperors. If you're using Tung's method, the Xiasen Huang or lower 3 emperors method points are they're the group of 3 points. One located near spleen 6, second one located near spleen 9, and the third one located 4 sun above spleen 6. So they are a group of 3 points along the spleen meridian on the leg. Okay, and the 4th point is spleen 4. So we can use all the 4 points of spleen on the right lower limb. Then in the right upper limb, we can use Sanjaw 4 and 5. In the left upper limb, we can use heart 5 and an extra point called Guguan. Guguan is the point which is just below heart 8, heart 7, right? So it's usually we call it heart 7.2 in the here, heart 7.2 in the hypothenar eminence. Then for the gallbladder meridian in the left lower limb, we have gallbladder 41. So that was if we have to use it individually, for the kidney meridian and for the spleen meridian. Now you are confused whether you want to use the spleen meridian or the kidney meridian, and which global balancing method I should do, which truss I should use. So then in that case, if you do not want to, use your mind or you're confused, then you can use all the 8 meridians, okay, and use all these points on all the 4 limbs. Okay? Use the spleen and kidney on the right lower limb, Sanjiao and large intestine points in the right upper limb, heart and pericardium points on the left upper limb, gallbladder and stomach points on the left lower limb. The location of the 3 points, which are very, very good for all gynecological problems, and especially the ovarian disorders, for the uterine disorders, are the 3 points which are located on the carpal bones. They're called Guguan, Zhongguan, Muguan. Okay, the location is shown with the red dots, and the 3 needles are also put on the right side. So the center one belongs to uterus. So I have used this point a lot in cases of dysmenorrhea. One single needle once relieves dysmenorrhea to a larger extent. And the 2 points on the sides are mainly for the ovaries. So if you have PCOD, ovarian dysfunction, premature ovarian failure, so you can use these points. Eggs not maturing, eggs not reaching to this, there's an ovulation defect, so you can use these 2 points on the sides. Usually I locate these points, like Guguan, I locate below heart 7. It lies in the pathway of the heart meridian. So it's heart 7.2. Then Zhongguan is pericardium, on the pathway of pericardium meridian. You can locate it below pericardium 7. It is pericardium 7.2. And then Muguan is along on this lung meridian. I located below lung 9. It is lung 9.2. Then there is a group of points on the dorsum of the hand, group of 5 points, especially which we can use in pregnant women when they suffer with a lot of lumbar pain. As the uterus stretches and it causes a lot of lumbar pain, you can use. The lumbar points are forbidden for use in pregnant patients. So, but when they come with a lot of lumbar pain, you have to do something. So either you can use the ear points, or you can use a group of these 5 points. They are at the level of Yao Tong. Yao Tong, you all must be knowing. It's an extra point which is mostly used for back pain. And on the in line with Yao Tong, under each interphalangeal in between the metacarpals, at the same level as Yao Tong, on all the 5, between all the 5 fingers, is the group of these 5 points, which can increase the kidney qi, which is also required during the pregnancy. And these points will also treat the lumbar pain. Now, we also have a group of points which treats the digestive issues and the sometimes gestational diabetes. Some people get gestational diabetes. So in them, we can also do global balancing and use a group of points. On the right lower limb, we can use spleen 9, liver 8. In the right upper limb, Li4, Sanjiao 5. In the left upper limb, heart 5, pericardium 6, and lung 7. And in the lower limb, gallbladder 34 and stomach 36. So these points we can use in the digestive issues which women get, like morning sickness also they get, you can use for that. And when the uterus rises up, they get a lot of nausea, they get a lot of acidity and difficult to eat more as there is pressure on the stomach. So you can use these same points. And if there is gestational diabetes, then also you can use the same points. Other points which I use in my patients of infertility are the uterus point in both the ears. Very, very important. I put the embedding needle on the uterus points. Then these patients have lots and lots of anxiety. So I put 5 needles. They are called Sleepwell 5 needles. They are yin tang in the center, then ear shenmen on either side, and amnion. This is for stress and insomnia. Patients who are undergoing IVF cycles, they are very stressed and don't sleep properly. And again, stress and insomnia further imbalances the hormones. So it's very good to combine along with the body points, the 4 limb points. You can give them ear points. You can give them the Sleepwell 5 needle points. And some of the patients who have a lot of PMS, you can give, to relieve the PMS and the neck and shoulder pain during PMS, you can give Heart 5, which again is a Shen point, and Gallbladder 21. This really relieves the head and neck pain. Even sometimes PMS includes a lot of headache. We call it premenstrual headache. So for that also, besides the headache points, you can add Heart 5 and Gallbladder 21 in these patients. These two combination is very good for all the symptoms of PMS. Okay. Then some patients, they have a lot of breast problems, like there is a lot of pain in the breast premenstrually. So you can, for relieving this pain, premenstrual breast pain, or they have hyperlactin level, or sometimes there is discharge from the breast nipple, you can use pericardium points. You palpate in the upper arm all along the pericardium meridian. You will find that 2 to 3 tender spots along the pericardium meridian on the arm. So needling these tender points will relieve the breast problems. So these are mainly the points I use. I use the ear points, I use the Sleepwell points, and the pericardium and PMS points. So people usually ask me how many treatment do they need for the fertility treatment. I'll always tell them, as long as it takes to get you to be pregnant. The longest one took me 2 years, and the shortest one only 1 treatment. So I really cannot pinpoint. But for average, I tell them at least they should be with me for 3 cycles, and I need to treat them in every phase of menstrual period. It has to be in the first phase, I need to give them 1 treatment, then phase 2, 2 to 3 treatment, then phase 3 ovulation, at least 2 treatments, and phase 4, luteal phase, at least 2 treatments. So I have to give them treatment in every phase. Okay, and on an average, they respond within the 3 to 4 cycles. But sometimes, like mild to moderate endometriosis, stage 2 endometriosis, it may take a little longer. So 2 times per week for 5 weeks, and once a week until you get pregnant, which may last up till 2 years also. And so acupuncture should be adjusted as needed depending on your symptoms. So you can give an homework to the patient also. Patients who are undergoing infertility, tell them to administer moxa with a stick on the lower abdomen for 30 to 45 minutes every day in a clockwise circular motion, and at least 3 times a week. And these are the days when they are not coming to you. So if they are the days they come to you, you should do that in the clinic for them. And the days they are not coming to you, you can give them the moxa stick and they can do it at home. Or they can buy the moxa box, in which you can put the moxa wool, and that can be applied on the lower abdomen. Then dietary recommendations, tell the patient to eat cooked food only. No ice, no ice cream or iced water, iced tea, juice, yogurt, cheese, milk, cream, or raw food like salads and fruits. Salads and fruits should be minimum consumed. and tell the patient to keep their lower abdomen, lower back and buttock region warm. These areas must always be covered with clothing. That means no swimming in cold water or sitting on the cold surfaces. And you can ask the patient to track their ovulation using the ovulation device, so intercourse can be planned accordingly. And instruct the patient to go to sleep early, no later than 10 p.m. We know that from 11 p.m. onwards, the gallbladder meridian time starts, and it's very unhealthy to be awake when the gallbladder and liver meridians are active, most active. So patient should go to bed by 10 p.m. so that he's fast asleep by 11. Okay, and gallbladder and liver really disrupts the hormone cycle in our body. So we should keep very calm and we should be totally relaxed and fast asleep before the gallbladder time starts. So no TV watching or using phones or computers in bed. And ask the patient to lose weight. Most of the patient of PCOD will respond best if they lose weight. Okay. So that was the treatment of infertility. I have few ideas about what we should do once the patient gets pregnant, but this we can skip and keep for the next webinar, which I will present only on how to maintain the pregnancy from conception to birth. Okay, so I was asked by Dr. Dhingra since Dr. Iqbal would be here, so to speak few words about IVF. Dr. Iqbal, I have the entire webinar. I can speak for 8 hours. How we can assist the patients of infertility with acupuncture. So some of this, I picked a few slides from that vast knowledge, which shows that when we should use acupuncture and when we should not. Every patient we should not poke our nose. We should be very careful about choosing our patient. If we are sure that we can help them out and do our best. So I have really divided the patient into having a major impediment or a minor impediment. If the patient has major impediment like blocked tubes and the husband has got a very low sperm count, I said straight away go for ART. Okay, ICSI for the husband and for ladies who have blocked tubes to go in for the microsurgeries. But of course the minor impediment like a very slightly low sperm count and irregular ovulation or cycles and mild endometriosis. In these patients, if the woman is young, I always advise them acupuncture, nutrition, lifestyle, and drugs like Clomid. If the woman is older I would call above 35, then I would recommend ART along with acupuncture. Okay. So combination of more than one minor factor, if they have more than one minor factor, again, acupuncture or ART or combination of the two will be good. Some patients, they say there is no abnormality diagnosed. They have gone through all the reports, no abnormality in husband or wife. So these patients are the ones who have liver Qi stagnation. So they do very well just with acupuncture, nutrition and lifestyle, and they do not require any ART. And I have got umpteenth number of such patients. And what do acupuncture do to improve the outcome of an IVF cycle? It increases the ovarian response. It increases the estrogen levels. It enhances the follicle quality. It does not increase the follicle quantity. That's why I put a question mark on that. Many patients say it is AMH. Can we increase the AMH, anti-Mullerian hormone? We said no, because we cannot interfere with the ovarian reserve. It can improve the sperm vitality. It can reduce the side effects of the drugs which are given for ART. It can increase the endometrial thickness, which is too thin. And so by all this, it can increase the implantation rate. So there are a lot of RCTs, there are a lot of meta-analysis, Cochrane reviews done on role of acupuncture for fertility with lot of parameters, parameters on endometrial thickness, FSH levels, follicular size level, and progesterone level, the corpus luteum level, and blood flow to the ovaries and blood flow to the uterus. Lot of parameters were taken and lot of work has been done. And there's so many RCTs. If you want, I can send them to Dr. Iqbal or whoever is interested. So how does acupuncture help in improving the sperm quality, follicular microenvironment, and egg quality? Okay, and hence increase the outcome for IVF as it increases the blood supply. So in that way, oxygen and nutrients to the testicles, to the follicles, improving the ovarian function by regulating hormone levels like luteinizing hormone, testosterone, and insulin. So we work a lot on insulin resistance with patients of PCOD. It reduces the stress hormones, the cortisol levels associated with reduced IVF sepsis. It also increases the oocyte mitochondrial ATP output and enhances the antioxidant defenses. It also reduces the inflammatory cytokines, the NK cells. So acupuncture improves the ATP production in the mitochondria. This is one of the yang activity of acupuncture. The antioxidants levels are also improved. This prevents the oxidative damage. So this is the yin activity. So this is. So these are a lot of points and a lot of articles which have come up in different journals. I can give you the details of so many journals: British Medical Journal, British Journal of Obs and Gynae, Cochrane Library, which have come up with the meta-analysis and the outcome in clinical pregnancy when acupuncture was combined with the ARTs. Acupuncture increases the blood flow to the uterus. So this is all about my presentation. Thank you so much for the patient hearing. And can I take a break for 5 minutes as my Wi-Fi is being disconnected for 5 minutes? And I'll be answering all the queries in 5 minutes. Is that okay, Dr. Inderjeet?
If you take some short time, 1 or 2 minutes, that's better, because today is the working day for all of doctors,
Yeah, just 2 minutes. You can talk amongst yourself. I will be just taking 2 minutes off. Okay?
In the meantime, I request to all of you, if any questions, can you write on the web, my WhatsApp number.
Namaste, sir.
The links to these papers.
Any doubt, any question? In the meantime, we can think.
You know how to get the.
Just raise your hand. Yeah.
Sir, class was a little bit speedy.
Okay.
तो थोड़ा सा चाहिए था डिटेल्स में, या तो अगर रिकॉर्डिंग मिल जाए तो बहुत अच्छा है.
Recording you can get it from my YouTube, no problems.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
ये जो रवि
एक्चुअली जब तक डॉक्टर सुनीता आते हैं मैं चाहता हूं कुछ अपना शेयर करूं. I have treated the 5 cases regarding those who have under the treatment of some gynecologists from the Amritsar, and that were the abroad cases. They have recommended to me for the most of the these system IVF purpose. So we have did out of 5, only 1 case we have succeeded and very good results we have got it. And in my experience, and presently I have treated 1 cases, the one young girl from the Australia, still she is under my treatment. She has a very severe problem in vaginal pain. In physical relations, she can't be able to do, and the very burning signs there with the modern investigation, nothing they have found, no UTI infection, not at all. But the problem is still there, and she have consulted so many gynecologists, but she is not get any recovery. So 20 days ago, I have treated this lady, and same with the moxibustion and acupuncture, and she have relieved the vaginal pain, but still burning is there. So as per my experience, if they be combined with the modern medicine, according to the other doctors, it will be very good effect we can got it. And I have seen in China, the painless delivery is always with the anesthesia, and so many times, many gynecologists. I request to Dr. Iqbal ji, if you give some doctors, your daughter, your so many, so we can train them with the acupuncture, and you can research your IVF center in your clinic. Because if you will try in your nursing home, and definitely you get it the results, and this will be going good message, because you are always in the pioneer of the every system. In the IVF case, you are the pioneer, and the result you are pioneer. बुलंदियों में भी आपका being a name, बुलंदियां भी इकबाल के साथ बुलंदियों में पहुंचा हुआ, ना सिर्फ पंजाब में बल्कि पूरे हिंदुस्तान में ये आपका नाम चलता है. बट हम ये चाहते हैं कि जिन सिस्टम से हमारे ट्रेडिशनल सिस्टम है, एक्यूपंक्चर इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट मोड बन सकता है अगर हम आपके नर्सिंग होम में इसको कंबाइन करें. तो इन द मीन टाइम सुनीता विल बिकम, इफ एनी क्लैरिफिकेशन फ्रॉम योर साइड, any help you need it from our side, we all are ready to give that.
Let me thank you, Dr. Indrajit. I am highly impressed with the webinar. I think it was extensive and very knowledgeable and very scientific.
Thank you, sir.
I think we are ready to cooperate. Anyway, we cannot say in any way. So we are always ready to cooperate, and I think Sunita, I am very much impressed. You have dealt the thing very scientifically and step by step. I think it's excellent, because I was the one who discovered IVF for North India actually. Even Delhi didn't have that time. I went to Orange Institute, went to PGI, went to everywhere. Nobody had it, and there was nobody to guide us. So we actually discovered our own person, because persons in the other part of the India were very secretive. They will not tell.
Right.
So now what I want is that we should have more collaboration, solve more problems, and I think we'll win.
The outcomes are better when we combine the two.
Then we should. I am highly impressed. I am very much willing to do anything. For Indrajit, I have never said no for anything, because I know for so many years. I started nursing home in 75. We started acupuncture in 75. So we are almost, I am older than him, of course, but I think we are okay.
Yeah.
And Dr. Sunita, Dr. Iqbal is the one of the founder member of your institution.
Wow, that's great. So nice to see
So
that.
every time he is ready to give the cooperation for this, but due to my engagement, I am not able to give the full time to them. So
You are very
hopefully now
busy.
this will be again we are trying to boosting the system and want to be more collaboration with them.
I think we should do it.
Yeah, definitely, sir.
I'm
Sir, any
always
question
there
from
for
the
any
audience
help.
side?
Hello,
Any
Hi.
doubt,
Sunita.
any question from any
Yes,
audience
yes,
side?
Dr. Poonam.
Yes,
Yeah,
Sunita. I
Poonam,
just,
carry on.
it was a very good presentation. Learned a lot. I would like to have the links of, what you said. Like, suppose it's a PCOD, a link to it, papers. Is it possible for you to send me?
What is it? PCOD
Like
what?
any diseases ki jo aapke links hai, just to kind of go through them also.
Yeah,
PC
the points.
No, not exactly the points. Whatever paper you've been prepared or you
Okay,
have those,
okay,
Okay, it's not only of PCOD, but anything else. Maybe
Yeah. We have so many meta-analysis, so many RCTs. I've got the maybe more than hundreds of them.
Links to these
So
papers.
I can send you the file.
No,
Yeah.
I would need just a little bit of it.
Because we have done so much of homework,
Good.
before putting it in front of everyone. We make sure that we are doing the right thing.
Right thing.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I've really learned something good. Chalo, I'll wait for this. Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Sunita. Thank you, now I request to Dr. Anish Gupta ji, please thanks to our chair speaker and our presider, Dr.
Welcome everyone. I think you know all about Dr. Sunita Kapoor. There is nothing I should say. She's a complete encyclopedia of acupuncture, and her today's lecture on infertility has proved that acupuncture has no boundaries, and it is also effective in the much complicated cases of infertility. Her today's presentation has covered all aspects of acupuncture related to infertility. Now you can also try acupuncture in infertility. I am also doing acupuncture in infertility with very good results in cases like menorrhagia and anovulation. And I think so. She is a master of everything. In TCM, the person who knows all about acupuncture is called master, and I will also call her master. Sir, master के master
You बहुत ज़्यादा बोल रहे हो.
master के master नहीं बोला.
We are all colleagues and
really, you are a
same
master.
level.
Really, you are a master. Master in everything.
Come on, thank you so much.
Yeah, you deserve this. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Sunita. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. You have spared a valuable time for us, and definitely.
Anytime, anything for you, sir. Whatever. If you want any help, in your center, if they want to learn something, especially related to infertility, most welcome. Anytime.
I have one message for all the participants. And tomorrow again we have one webinar on the headache problems. And our chairperson of resource person is Dr. Tilak Kalraji from Australia. So different way of diagnosis according to the modern science and according to the TCM, the treatment. So he will be share with their experience tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Dr. Tilak Kalraji. Thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you.
Your valuable time.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, good night. Thank you very much. Thank you, Anish.